Hi, everybody. Welcome to Geography at Work. Tonight's career panel is going to focus on urban and transit planning. My name is Joel Gruley, and I'm the undergraduate advisor in the Department of Geography. And on behalf of the Department of Geography, I'd like to just take a moment to thank our 6 alumni participants. So these are 6 alumni who went through the Department of Geography here at UW-Madison. Thank you so much for, we know that you all are extremely busy. Thank you so much for devoting your time to shed light on this important field. It's a field that geography students and beyond geography are very interested in. We're very fortunate to have 6 people spread out all over the country with a wealth of knowledge in the sector of urban and transit planning. So to kick things off tonight, we'd like to start with introductions of our 6 alumni guests. So if I could have each of the alumni guests just introduce themselves, just of course, tell us your names and then where you work. So I guess we'll start with Eric, and then we'll go to Greg after that.
All right. Hi all, Eric Rundle. I did both the undergrad geography program and the GIS certificate program at UW-Madison. I'm currently at King County Metro in Seattle, and I'm the planning and policy lead for a team that mostly does mid and long range planning for our system at King County Metro. And so I can go more into like my career path, but that's the quick overview of me. So.
Great. I think I heard my name next. I'm Greg May. I'm the Transportation Policy Director at 1,000 Friends of Wisconsin, which is a land use and transportation-based nonprofit that advocates for more walking, biking, and transit in our communities here in Wisconsin.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Meg, next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Meg, she, her, hers. I'm a planner working for a city council member in the city of Los Angeles, Cynthia Rahman. And in my role, I work primarily on housing policy. And I graduated human geography 2015.
And is it Joe? Am I pronouncing it correctly, Joe?
Yes. My name is Joe, and I graduated in 2014 with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Geography. And now I'm working as an instructor of geography in Toronto, Canada. So most of my like transportation planning experience happened in my graduate study years, mostly in theory and academia. Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thanks, Joe. Kevin, next.
Very good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Engelbert, and I graduated from UW Geography in 2015 with a degree in Geography and Cartography GIS. Currently, I'm the Deputy Director of the East Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission. We're the second biggest planning commission in Wisconsin, and we're located in Menasha in the Fox Cities.
Thank you, Kevin. And Grace.
Hey everyone, I'm Grace Friesen. I graduated from UW Geography in 2018 with a focus on human geography, and I'm currently a transit planner at Minnesota Valley Transit Authority, serving the South Metro in the Twin Cities.
Thanks, Grace. Before we go into the breakout rooms, let's do one question with everybody all together. So, and I'll start with Eric, and then I'll move through everybody again. Can you talk about how your education at UW-Madison affected your career path?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I started out in geography, and I actually worked in the cartography lab And then following graduating with my undergrad degree, I did the GIS certificate program, which is really how I think I got more into like urban planning type of work. Because right after that, or sort of at the tail end of the certificate program, I actually got an internship at Vanderwall and Associates as a GIS analyst. So Vanderwall's a urban planning firm in Madison. So I worked for them for almost a year as an intern doing GIS work, but also got exposed to urban planning related work. And that really had a lot of interest to me. So then pretty much from then on, I did an AmeriCorps program after that in Oregon. And that was also applying pretty much doing GIS work for a small community in Oregon, but also in like the land use topic area. And then from there, I went on to grad school, but sort of all throughout until very recently, I've always been using GIS and geographic analysis as part of my work. It's only now as I've gotten more into like managing people that I've actually gotten away from doing GIS the last few years. But I think I viewed that and then thinking about things spatially as really key into like the type of work that I did and how I approached my work and sort of analysis that I did. So, and I found my urban geography class, I remember that I had, was by far one of my favorites. And that's sort of also what sort of like I just found geography interesting, that as I went through the program, is that urban geography class I took was really focus me in on those type of topic issues, and GIS sort of gave me the tools to then apply them to different jobs. So, and then as you get into your career, you start learning things on your job that are related or not related, and sort of can broaden out your career from there. So.
Thanks, Eric. I'm just curious, what was that urban geography class that you took that was so instrumental?
I think it was just I think it was called urban geography. It's the introductory. I was a human geography specialization, so
okay.
It may not be offered anymore. I don't know.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
probably Geography 305, which is now called Introduction to the City, which is our like intro.
Yeah, it was definitely a 300 level series one. Yeah. So
cool. Thank you, Greg.
Sure. You guys beat me to the punch. I tell people pretty frequently that it's a tired cliche, but I had that experience where one class can change, the course of your life. And for me, that class was Introduction to the City. So I graduated in 2013 with degrees in history and geography, and I really focused on urban geography, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And my junior year, I took that Introduction to the City class, and it just kind of awoken something within me. I knew I started, I ate that class up, and so I decided to kind of pursue a career in urban planning. I ended up going to graduate school for urban planning. I graduated there in 2015. Worked at some, an engineering firm here in town, as well as like a private consulting firm that worked on, specifically public engagement projects around park redesigns and the BRT project here in Madison. And then kind of found my way to 1,000 Friends, just doing statewide policy work, especially as it relates to transit. So, I think when I think about what the UW geography program did for me, it gave me that foundation and a perspective about cities and our built environment and just human geography in general that I constantly draw back to, both with inspiration and kind of the foundation of the building blocks of what I consider my career. So I would say it's been hugely influential.
Great, thank you, Greg. Meg?
Yeah, not to become too redundant, but I'm gonna have to echo the Intro to the City course as being very influential. I took it freshman year and I knew I wanted to study urban planning, so I took it as soon as I could. And I think it was one of the TAs or another professor who I was talking to shortly after the first class or two in that course, and they connected me with Margaret from the Associated Students of Government, who needed a transportation policy rep on ASM. So I did that for 3 years. And then through that, just kind of found myself among many planners, both with the city of Madison and at UW-Madison, fell into working at Center on Wisconsin Strategy Cows for a couple of semesters. And it was also geography professors specifically. I also studied poli-sci and Latin American studies, but it was geography professors who really pushed me to continue studying urban development and upgrading programs in Brazil, which I'd been doing on a gap year before my freshman year. So I took that, ended up writing a senior thesis on federal housing programs in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro before the Olympics. And the geography department gave me money. I went back for a year and a half. And that's how I fell into my master's program at UCLA. So very direct through line from all the resources in the geography department for me. Very grateful.
Great. Thanks, Meg. I'm so glad to hear that Intro to the City has been so influential to our students. That's a great class. Kevin?
Sure. Well, when I got to UW, I would say that urban planning wasn't really on my radar. I came in undecided, didn't know what I would study. And as part of the electives that or course schedule that I had as a freshman, I had geography. I think it was just 101, Introduction to Geography. And so I took that class and I liked it. But a little bit later than that, I had a relative who was on the city council in my hometown of Menasha up here in the Fox Cities. And they had a conversation with a UW geography alum who was the planner at the city. And they were kind of talking about, well, what are your kids up to? Or, what are your family doing and everything like that. And then it came up that, I had a geography class that I liked and then kind of got connected from there. So I did 2 internships with the city of Menasha while I was a student and actually got hired there as a planner when I graduated. A couple of years later, then I went back to do my master's in urban planning at the University of Iowa, started there, finishing at UW-Madison for my master's in planning. So that's kind of how I got started in urban planning.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Joe?
Hi, can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Can you talk about how your education at UW-Madison affected your career path?
Okay, because I just heard my fellow alumni were talking about one specific class. So I was thinking, do I need to mention a specific class or just a general impression about my education here?
Yeah, if particular courses were influential, yeah, feel free to mention them. But yeah, you could talk more generally too.
Okay.
Whatever you think was important to shaping your career path.
Okay. So I came to Madison as a transfer student at my junior year. So most of my class here were of intermediate or advanced level class, and I think the 2 classes that most influential to me were one of Professor Jane Bird's it's quantitative method in geography, and that class gave me a lot of introduction to the quantitative method or data analysis on the geography study they currently do, and it really helped me in my graduate study later. So in my graduate study, I mainly concentrate on the economic impact of transportation on cities and on communities. So it involves a lot of data and numbers. So that class really helped me a lot. And the other class I really liked was European, I think it's called European Historic Landscape of Professor Robert Ostergren. And that class introduced a lot of cities in Europe and their histories, how cities became what they look like today, and it really exposed the diversity of the physical space and human environment in many cities, and make me evoke my interest on planning a city to make it better.
Great. Thank you, Sho. And Grace.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of what other people said. So my finding my way into geography was a little bit indirect. So I started out very much interested in communications. That was my other major along with geography. And then from that, a lot of communication art majors do a digital studies certificate. And something that counts for that is a lot of the cartography courses. So that's where I sort of started in cartography. I was taking, I think it's a history class with Professor Cronin. I was taking that. And that kind of piqued my interest as well. So that all kind of came together. And then I decided to do geography as a second major as well. And I ended up kind of liking that and kind of thinking of that as my main major. So I got into cartography, and then kind of on the transit side of things, I also studied abroad in the Netherlands, and that was a great experience, especially just seeing how transit operates in a different country, and just helped kind of foster my love for going into that field. And then finally, the introduction to the city course, like a lot of people mentioned, as well as my senior capstone, I did a transit focused project there. And I think that really was really beneficial to where I'm at today. So I would say kind of a combination of those couple different things.
Great. Thank you, Grace. Yeah, I remember your 565 project, the senior capstone project, was urban planning related too, and drew heavily on cartography.